So currently, every Pro League of Legends team has a gaming house, and I don't think that's a necessity for a professional team. When you think of a regular job, you look at it as a place where you go to work and then you come home and that is your leisure time. Well, with a pro esports player, they are surrounded by work constantly. You know, they go into the LCS studio, they play their game, they come back and they analyze the game at home, and they're surrounded by their coach and their players and everything like that. And it's just a constant stream of work no matter what. With 60-hour work weeks, it just becomes a lot of stress and a lot of burnout for that player. And when we talk about burnout and stress, it's a huge factor for esports players. The average lifespan of a League of Legends player is about 3 to 5 years, and I think that's partially due to these gaming houses that restrict their freedom. We can also look at another esport, Counter Strike Go. A lot of those teams don't have gaming houses. They have boot camp houses where before a major tournament they go there and they all practice for a couple weeks, and then they go into the tournament and hopefully they're peaking during that moment. And a lot of the CSGO teams did try to do a gaming house. For instance, Cloud9, they tried to do a gaming house, but it didn't end up working. One of their famous players, Shroud, a really great CSGO player, he just said it wasn't for him. The house wasn't working out at all, so he left the house, but he still wanted to stay on the team. And he said that it was like he was always surrounded with work. There was no leisure time for him. And I think that's the same for League of Legends players, albeit that Counter Strike's tournament is set up differently, and how there are different majors and things, and there are breaks in between. And League of Legends competitive scene, and how they set up their schedule. That's another conversation, but the main takeaway is that yes, living with people who are your work buddies basically is very stressful, and that also brings in, whenever you have a roommate, there's always something that they're gonna do that's a little bit annoying, and kind of is a downside to living with someone else. And these IRL things, I guess, can just add that little bit of more tension when it comes to team cohesion, and it may bring some nuances into the game itself. So that's another problem. And one of the big problems that I also see is a lot of these young guys, they don't get independence when they go into these gaming houses, and they have less personal growth in terms of the real life and real life situations. They're always catered to by their coach, their nutritionist, everything like that, and there is no time to where they aren't watched by their own team. So it's all very structured and very neat in terms of that. And we get these team houses from the Korean gaming culture, from back in the days of StarCraft and everything. But when you look at the differences of culture between NA and Korea, they're vastly different. I mean, you have a very specific tier structure when it comes to Korea, in terms of the coach. He has absolute power, and everyone else follows under him. And then you have the elders, the hyong or whatnot, they call it, the big brother, who you have to listen to as well. So there's a big ordered structure, but in NA that's not the case, or even in Europe that's not the case. And so there can be this clash of personalities that can exist within those houses, and it's not like you're always gonna take orders, from your teammate. So I don't think that's a positive thing, or something that creates a positive environment for a team house. Um, so yeah, and one of the best examples that I see of a LCS team is Echo Fox. They have a specific place where they go and they do their scrims, and then they have their gaming house, which, yes, they all do still live together, but that is a place of, it's a sanctuary. It's a place where they can rest, and they still, play solo queue or whatnot, but they can rest over there, and it's not as serious versus these other gaming houses. They all do everything within that one house, so there is no separation. Um, and not only that, but I see a lot of these gaming houses, you have to share a room with a lot of your teammates. So if you aren't getting along with your teammate, it's going to be pretty brutal. And if you have a personality clash, it's even more difficult, because now you have to go to sleep next to that guy too. So I don't think gaming houses are the end all be all thing for League of Legends, and I think we should expand our ideas on how we can take care of our players and what we should do for our players' living situation and work situation.